Hey Spain lovers, so at the risk of oversimplifying the wonderfully rich Spanish culture,
which we never do.
Never. Yoly and I have long been excited about the idea of doing a video that highlights some of the really quintessential items or objects that you're going to find in almost every Spanish household.
So we're going to be telling you what they are and show them to you actually, and give you some insight as to how they fit into our daily lives.
And if you click the link below, you can actually buy these 8 items in what we're calling the Become a Spaniard pack. No, that's not true. We're not selling a pack. You can't buy a pack of these 8 items. Hang till the end where we cover why in many Spanish households you will find an ornamental sword, and also why Spaniards are particularly proud of mops. All right, venga, let's go. Okay, so espadrilles. Now, you will have heard of these. They're called espadrilles in English. They're actually called in Spanish alpargatas, but I believe espadrille, Yoly, if you didn't know this, comes from the Occitan word esbardeña, which is what they call them in Catalonia, I think.
Of course I knew.
She knew that.
I had no idea.
So you will find that a lot of Spaniards will have these lying around because they wore them in summer or wear them in summer. You'll find them in households, right?
Yeah. Every member of the family will have a pair probably.
So the tops of them are made of canvas or cotton, and the bases are made of esparto grass or rope. I mean, it can be a combination of things. Nowadays you'll get a bit of rubber on the bottom as well. And for me, what they represent is, you know, my goal, my dream of living that true Mediterranean lifestyle that I aspire to, sort of waking up in our little shack in Cadiz. I slip on my espadrilles and push out the boat.
Can't wait for that. When is that happening?
I don't know. It's a few years off right now. But in reality, how I wear these is, you know, I wear them as indoor slippers during the summer in landlocked Madrid. So neurotic James is very far from that Mediterranean idyll, but I would like to get there. Now, looking back at the past, these were originally probably Roman or Egyptian kind of just sort of peasant wear in a way. And then over the years, they've become trendy. Picasso, Dali wore them, and that kind of became a bit of a thing. Lauren Bacall in the great film Key Largo wore them. And then, of course, Sonny Crockett, Don Johnson in Miami Vice also wore them.
So next up, any kid worth their salt in Spain was given a flamenco set such as this in their childhood.
I didn't get one in New Zealand, so obviously not worth my salt.
Sorry about that. So you will get your set together with your flamenco dress. I got 2 in my life. I got one that was purchased and another one that my godmother hand sewed.
Wow.
How about that? Thank you very much, Tia Lumi.
Thank you. I don't know why I just said thank you, but thank you.
So let me show you quickly what's in here. So we have the ornamental comb here. We have the lovely earrings, the castanets, a lovely necklace, and some bracelets as well. So a lovely set, all made out of plastic.
Perfect, ecologically friendly. In keeping with its 80s origins.
So when I bought it yesterday, I took a photo of it and uploaded it onto Instagram, and there was all these people from my generation. They were like, oh my God, I can't believe you can still get those. And like a lot of them were actually excited. And I'm actually thinking maybe I can open up a company that only sells this item.
Tell you what, better than tourism right now in Spain, so I'm all for that. All right, moving along. Okay, next up, the Jamonero, a classic. There's one of these sitting in every cupboard in every kitchen across the country, I feel like, right? Gathering dust, brought out, you know, maybe in special occasions and at Christmas when there's actually a ham at home. Growing up in Spain, when I count my Spain years as like from 10 years ago when I moved here, and that was like year 1. So in year 1,
so growing
up in Spain, I remember seeing the first one of these at Yoly's family's house one Christmas when we came to visit from New Zealand. And that year they actually did have a jamon. Your father had been given one by his work.
So excited.
And I was super excited. I'd never quite seen a contraption like this. It looked medieval. But we haven't had it that often since, because your family generally doesn't have a jamon at home. We don't generally have one. Well, let us know if you know of, or you are in a Spanish family where you always have a jamon on the go in the kitchen on one of these. But I think it might just be a mythical thing these days. So as it is, we've only actually used it twice. First, when we got our first jamon, some like 7 or 8 years ago, we actually got a jamon for free for signing up for a Vodafone account when we first moved here.
It was rotten.
It was a rotten ham, so thank you, Vodafone. So obviously with our first jamon, we needed a jamonero, so we bought this then, and we also got the knife. knife, the special ham carving knife, which is very thin and you carve it towards yourself. Sorry,
scary.
Yoly, watch out. And then the second time we bought a ham was when my family came to visit a couple of years ago and for Christmas, and we got this old baby out and used it again. You know, in the same way that I have that image of us living a Mediterranean lifestyle, I'm waking up on the beachfront shack and wandering out. I would love to wake up in the morning, put on my espadrilles, wander into the kitchen, carve myself a big slice of jamon,
Really?
and then
For breakfast?
for breakfast, and then push the boat out. I would love that, but that's not going to happen. So the thing is, when you go to buy these, there's 3 different things you can choose from. You can have horizontal or vertical. Pretty much everybody would have horizontal. Verticals just for bars and things like that. You can get stainless steel or you can get wood. Wood is the more common. Stainless steel looks super pro. And also you can get ones that actually rotate so that when you've finished one side of the ham, you can, so you can do the other side of the ham. Needless to say, this one does not rotate. But I'd love to be a great ham carver and get this out more often. Not happening. Let's move on.
Next up, palas de playa. And like the name suggests, you use them on the beach, en la playa. And so what is it? It's like a game you play very similar to tennis, only the ball can't really bounce because physically it can't bounce on the sand. So kind of like a very quick, fun game, right? That you just kind of play back and forth, no point. I mean, I guess you can make it competitive, but I've never really done that.
I see kind of like, you know, really kind of muscly, tanned. I feel like this whole video is about how me not living up to like a Spanish ideal. We're not big beach people. So,
that's true.
But we're gonna be. Gotta just wake up, slip on the alpargatas, carve that ham, quick game of padel, and then push the boat out.
Can you promise that?
Working on it. So at the start of lockdown, we all got into cooking, and then we got out of cooking again because we got sick of it, and now
it was summer.
Yeah, true. And now we're back into cooking again because this just keeps going on and on forever. And so I'm back in that into cooking again moment, and I've been actually doing some baking. And one of the things that I've been learning how to make is this yummy, bready, jammy thing from this woman called Julia Turshen, who's a chef in New York. And she has a Skillshare class how to do it. So for those of you who know me, you'll know that I'm a lifelong learner and that I'm a big fan of Skillshare and that they sponsor some of these videos, which is a massive help right now. For those of you who don't know Skillshare, it's an online learning platform where you can take thousands of courses and classes which are perfect for creative and curious people. It's a great way to develop new interests, kind of get lost in creativity and kind of deepen skills that you already have. So in this class, Julia teaches you how to make this yummy, jammy, bready thing that's perfect for morning tea for me and a sweet breakfast for Yoly. But through the class, as well as learning how to make this thing, you actually learn how yeast works, which is really helpful when you're trying to learn how to bake, and also how to knead dough, which has been super helpful because we're making more pizzas at home.
My pizzas.
Yoly loves pizza and sweet breakfasts. And so voila, suddenly you have this really delicious thing. So if you guys are uncertain about what's next and you're looking for a creative challenge or something to kind of sink your teeth into, literally, then I think Skillshare can be great. I'm really finding baking and cooking a way to kind of get out of my head a little bit, use my hands, and make something sweet for Yoly's breakfast, which everybody wins.
Thank you, Skillshare.
So the first 1,000 people to click the link in the description below, you'll get a free trial to Skillshare Premium membership. And then after that, it's about $10 a month. So we'll see you over there and let's get on with the show. Okay, next up, the paella pan, which I feel every household has one of these, right, in Spain?
Definitely. I mean, my parents, and neither of them are paella master, and they own 3 or 4.
Well, we have
different
3.
materials, different size. Yeah, we have 3. And are you a master of paella?
Not yet. I do have a dream of becoming a paella master, and I've bought these over the time, as well as a paella kit and everything like that. But in terms of like the anatomy of a paella pan, you'll notice that generally they're always, this is very awkward, but you'll notice they're always obviously very wide and very shallow. Yeah. And that is because, I mean, they originally, I believe, were based on pans, came from the ancient Romans. It's sort of a shape like that.
Invented before the wheel.
Yeah, the wheel was based on the paella pan. But here's the thing, you have to be really careful when you use the word paella and when you talk about making paella. So even when we made a video making a paella and we brought an actual real life 100% Valencian guy, Vicente, to help us and like guide us and do it.
Hired him.
And we still got a lot of critique from Valencians in the comments. So it's a very sensitive topic, the whole rice thing. So tread carefully. But pro tip, if you want to be totally legit, do not call this a paella pan.
Or paellera.
Or paellera. Call this a paella. The actual name of the dish is a paella, and the name of the dish that you cook in the dish is a paella. So a lot of people even in Spain don't know that. So in Spain, people will say, I have a paellera.
But I must say that it's accepted by the Real Academia de la Lengua Española.
But not by the Valencians. So you'll get in trouble. Are you confused yet? Either way, if you want to buy one, there's 3 different types. I'm going to put this down now. There is enameled steel. I'm going to lift it up
This
again
one?
because this one is enameled steel. This is like the training wheels kind of paella. It's non-stick, dishwasher safe, very light. Super authentic, as you can tell. But the real one is carbon steel. That's one that will just be really, really light, will conduct the heat really, really well.
Yeah.
But you have to care for it. You have to oil it after you use it and things like that. There's also stainless steel, which is also handy. You don't have to care for it quite as much, but it doesn't conduct the heat so well. So this spring, once the weather warms up, I'm gonna get out there and I'm gonna really become that rice master. You know, I'm gonna wake up in the morning, I'm gonna slip on my espadrilles, I'm gonna carve the ham for breakfast, I'm gonna push out the boat, I'm gonna fish up some stuff, and when I come back, I'm gonna make a paella.
Sounds amazing.
You ready? It's kind of like becoming a pit master in the United States. All right. Okay, I'm getting intense. On to you, Yoly.
So next up, the fregona.
I got,
Sorry about
got some
that.
on my face there. Some fregón on my face.
I bet that you didn't expect to find a mop here on our lovely list of Spanish items.
Nor maybe were you hoping to find a mop here on this list.
Okay, let me tell you the story. It was a Spanish man that invented the mop, this kind of mop, right?
Yeah.
Before he invented it, people would bend on their knees and destroy their backs and knees to scrub the floors. So there was this Spanish aeronautical engineer called Manuel Jalón, who in 1956 invented the mop, but he didn't really quite invent
Well,
it,
because
right?
when you said to me first that, and I remember this years ago, Spain invented the mop, I was like, did that need inventing? You know?
So he spent a few years in the United States working in the Air Force. So he saw that the hangars were cleaned with this mop that was flat and it had a stick like this. And he kind of, in the end, didn't really invent it, but improved the invention, I guess, right?
Yeah. So literally only in Spain do Spaniards talk about how Spain invented the mop. I don't
We're
think
very,
anybody...
very proud. I mean, even if you go to Zaragoza, there is this monument in honor to the inventor of the fregona. And guess what it is? It's a bucket and a mop.
in bronze there. So the mop. So if you have a mop at home, but not any old mop, if you have the one I grew up with, some poor unfortunate child growing up with a bad mop, if you have one of these, that's legit. That's authentic Spanish culture.
So just a little insert here, the same man, Manuel Jalón, invented or improved, as the case may be, the disposable syringe. So
Very handy right now.
Oh,
Thank
yeah?
God for Manuel. All right, moving on. Okay, the next one is a fun one, the porrón. Here's the thing with these. You will find these more likely in Aragon and Catalonia, although when I first came to Spain and went and stayed with Yoly's family, and their parents have a little house near Segovia, her father was drinking from one of these, and effectively it's kind of an ancient drinking vessel, you know, probably based on like the wineskin that you would drink like that. So if somebody knows how to drink from this properly, like Yoly's father, you know, they're chatting along, this is in the middle of the table, they're talking away, they will grab it and they'll just be like, and then they will open the smallest little hole in the side of their mouth, and they'll do that, and they'll just keep talking to you, and this will like go into the little gap in their mouth, and you're like, oh my God. And then when it came from my turn to do it, I had to put on a special t-shirt that was like an old t-shirt for like painting, and then, you know, get it all over myself, literally the training wheels version, like the enameled paella pan. I guess originally I've read online that, you know, they were to prevent people sharing germs. I'm sure that's not the case. I'm sure it's just because people didn't have individual wine glasses.
yeah, the times of coronavirus, I think it's
That's true. Coronavirus. We could, you know.
You could have a revival
There
right
could
now.
be something here, better
Yeah.
than tourism. But nowadays, how people drink from them or use them, really, it's more of a communal activity. So if you, particularly say in Catalonia, if you're in a bar, they will often have that, and people will just kind of pass it around. And that's the way they drink, and it's super fun. It takes a lot of work to get it right. You've got to practice. I recommend not practicing with red wine or wear the special clothes, like a special kind of like painting jumpsuit. So you need a porrón, guys. Get a porrón. They come in all sizes. The ornamental sword. Why is there an ornamental sword in so many Spanish households? Like, let me tell you a little story. So when we first moved back to Spain 10 years ago, and I was young and innocent and naive, and I went to see a horror film at the cinema. It was called Rec 3. It's a Spanish horror film. And in this is set at a wedding, and there's like a zombie uprising. And so at this wedding, the bride and groom cut the cake with a sword. And then, of course, later used the sword to fight the zombies.
Very handy.
Well, and I was like, geez, this is a coincidence the filmmakers have engineered. Why they give them a stupid sword so they could use it later? Like, that's so weird. That's bizarre, you know.
And I'm like, no, that is tradition.
Very handy. And then Yoly told me, no, that's a thing. You actually do cut the cake with a sword. I was like, oh, that's genius. Such a great idea. And so generally in Spain, maybe more traditionally, I'm curious what you think, Yoly, is the moment of cutting the cake is done with an ornamental sword that you buy, you have your names engraved on it, and then you'll have it lying around. And is this still a thing, Yoly?
Well, I did a very non-scientific survey in one of my WhatsApp groups, and I asked my friends, hey, so is this still a thing, guys? And I found a bit of everything. So some of them said, oh, that's like long gone now. And some of them were like, well, I recently was in a wedding and I saw it.
We don't have one in this house. I don't know if it's too late for us to get a sword, Yoly.
It's never too late.
Never too late to get a sword. But Yoly's parents do have one in that house in Segovia that I mentioned that they have that second home in the country, and it's just very cool. And it has the name of the place where they got married. And
there's some lovely photos, yeah.
Lovely. There's one photo
wedding
where your mother is like trying to stab your father with it. Literally, is kissing. Yeah. Anyway.
They're kissing and she's like holding the sword like that.
Yeah, as I say, we haven't got a sword, but it was just our 10-year wedding anniversary. Maybe we should have gotten each other a sword or something like that.
I'm sorry about that. Next time.
Next marriage, we'll do the sword. Make a note to self. Guys, Spanish culture is endlessly fascinating, so if you want to learn more about it, click this little playlist up here that we've made for you that is all about, well, us talking about Spanish culture and discussing it, debating it, my experience as a Kiwi and
my experience as a Spaniard.
So yeah, click that over there and we'll see you over there in a moment. All right, ciao.
Ciao.